What's going on, guys? I know we are going through a tough time with Warzone 2 with the lack of update, but with this, I wanted to hook you guys up with top 5 best loadouts that you guys will do amazing with, and honestly, you won't even have to try. So this is the first one I actually wanted to show you, and it is the second MG38. This thing is incredible, and in fact, the optic is interchangeable. We're going to start out with the Polar Fire S for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down, sight speed, and aiming stability. But the bullet velocity at 0.48 inches and the recoil smoothness to 0.36 ounces. Move on to the Cronin WL55. This is specifically for the second. You can set it to aiming out stability, aim walking steadiness, and recoil steadiness at the cost of sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, aiming out stability at 0.19 inches, and recoil stabilization at 0.26 inches. Now, if you don't want to use this, completely fine. There's actually a bunch of alternatives. One of the alternatives I would recommend would either be the Bruin Warrior LMG, which is actually very good. Now, as you guys see, this is good for recoil control. This is good for heavy recoil control. So either one, whichever one you want to do, just know that you're going to get more cons. So if you want to switch this out, feel free to switch this out. If you don't even want to use that, you can use F-Tac Ripper, and it can also give you a benefit. But this one could actually work out more in your favor. If you want that, then you can set it just about right here, 0.53. Aiming out stability, you also increase that. Now, like I said, this is going to slow you down considerably more than the previous one, but completely up to you if you want to use that. Next, you can move on to the 20-inch Bruin Silver Series barrel. Tune this for the damage range to be 0.30 inches and the recoil steadiness to be 0.37 pounds. This increases bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down, sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. Now, there's two things I could show you. VLK 4.0 optic, you set the tuning to far, or you can use the AIM V4. It's completely up to you, whichever one you want to use, and I'll show you guys a demonstration on each of them. This is the alternative. But the last thing is the Bruin G305 grip wrap for the recoil control at the cost of aiming stability. I put the aiming out stability at 0.42 inches and the recoil steadiness at 0.77 ounces. Now get this. This is with the 4x. As you guys see, barely any recoil, very easy to control. In fact, I'll do it one more time for you guys just so you guys see it's not a fluke. Super easy to control this gun, and my FOV isn't even maxed out. I mean, it's not. My FOV is not maxed out. So just show you guys how it would look if my FOV was actually maxed out, because I know everybody's running 120 FOV, so you guys want to see how it would look for you guys. This is how it would look for you guys. Zero recoil, zero recoil, zero recoil. It's a very easy weapon to use. In fact, it's probably one of the easiest LMGs to use right now. I would argue it's easier to use than the RPK, because in the RPK, a lot of people are using the AIM V4, and if you're using the AIM V4, check this out. I'm going to throw this on there, put the far distance maxed out, and check this out, how easy it is. Zero recoil, and zero recoil. Absolutely insane. So this is how I would start this video out, with this insane weapon, so you guys could try it out and use for yourself. That's the first thing, though. Next thing I want to move on to is the ISO Hemlock for people that actually want some more mobility and faster ADS, because that is going to be a slow ADS, but it's going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to have high range, high damage. It's going to be super easy to control the recoil. This is the next best thing, though. ISO Hemlock put on the Harbinger D20 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down, sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. Set the bullet velocity at 0.87 inches and the recoil smoothness at 0.54 ounces. Put on the F-Tac Ripper 56 for aiming out stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization at the cost of walking speed and aim down sight speed. Set the aiming out stability at 0.35 inches and the recoil stabilization at 0.65 ounces. On the Filter T50 for damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, movement speed. Set the damage range at 0.17 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.15 pounds. On the AIM V4 for the precision sight, max it out with far distance 45 round mag unless you think you can handle just 30 bullets, and you'll have no cons. And here is the outcome. I honestly think this is the best AR, and I think much more people are going to want to use this AR than want to use the LMG. And the reason I say that is just because, like, the ADS is going to be much better, and I mean, aside from that, it's still super easy to use and probably kills just as fast as the second. Now, the second obviously has more bullets and probably gets the job done easier, but the ADS is going to be atrocious. But next, we're going to move on to the Vasnet. The Vasnet is my baby in Warzone 2 now, and I'm surprised that they gave it so much credit and they actually buffed it the way they did, because now it's essentially better than all the other SMGs. Now, I will give you another SMG to try out, or two, but we're going to get to this first. Cast 1 381 millimeter for damage range, hipfire accuracy, and bullet velocity. As you guys see, it just tuned up a little bit. That's due to the stick drift. We're going to fix that. We're going to put it to about right here. That's where you want to have the recoil steadiness, around 0.25. Now, you want to set the damage range to literally 0.01 inches, or don't change it at all, because there's really no point in changing it. Like I said, it's the damage range, hipfire accuracy, and bullet velocity at the cost of aim down sight speed and hip recoil control. Now, so we're going to move on to the 9mm over pressured for the ammunition. This helps with target flinch. Set the damage range of 0.45 Gs and the bullet velocity at 4.35 GR. Put on the broadside FCT for aiming stability, crouch movement speed, aim down sight speed, and sprint speed at the cost of aim walking speed and recoil control. Set the aiming out stability at 0.70 inches and the aim down sight speed to negative 3.87 ounces. If you want to, you can put on the 45 round mag. If you don't want to, completely up to you. Just know that you have a bit of cons: the movement speed, aim down sight speed, recoil quickness, and sprint to fire speed. But last but not least, put on the true tack grip for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control. Set the sprint to fire speed to negative 15 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.58 ounces. Here is the outcome, and I know you guys are going to love it because it's actually super easy to use. Like I said before, when you set it to 120, this is the recoil you get. It's essentially zero recoil. I mean, it's so easy to use. Why wouldn't you use it? In my opinion, this is one of my favorite loadouts. Just because, like, anybody that's using 120, you guys are going to see the enemies in a smaller version. Like, you want as little recoil as possible. And if you're going to try to use something to get as much visual recoil, well, as less visual recoil as possible, this is what you want to use. But next, we are going to move on to the Fennec, because I know everyone's obsessed with the Fennec. So, this is the thing we're going to be showing you guys right now, is the LR 16.5 ignition barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, hipfire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. So the damage range of 0.25 inches and the recoil steadiness 0.32 pounds. Put on the 45 auto over pressured for target flinch. Set the bullet velocity of 5.52 GR. Set the damage range of 0.25 Gs. Set the Fennec mag 45. Now, I really don't suggest an alternative. Do not use this. It's just not worth it. Set the Fennec rubber grip for sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed at the cost of recoil control. Increase the sprint to fire speed by negative 0.16 inches and the aim down sight speed by negative 0.68 ounces. Put on the Agile Assault 7 stock for sprint speed, aim down sight speed, aim walking speed, and crouch movement speed at the cost of aiming stability and recoil control. Set the aiming out stability at 2.40 inches and the aim down sight speed to negative 2.06 ounces. Here's the outcome, and it's very easy to control. Super low recoil, super easy to control. Now, the only downside is I would highly recommend avoiding the long range engagements, because you're pretty much just going to have to try to burst fire, and you see how it's not going to be a great engagement. You want to stick to the short range, and you want to stick to the medium range, and you will be happy. Trust me, that's where you want to stick to. Last thing I do want to show you guys, though, is the MP5, because it's an incredibly cracked SMG. Put on the Merc foregrip for hipfire accuracy, recoil steadiness, aim recoil control, and aim walking steadiness at the cost of hip walking speed, aim down sight speed. Set the aim down sight speed to negative 0.28 inches and the hip walking speed to 0.54 ounces on the negative side. Put on the 9mm over pressured for ammunition for target flinch. Now, put the bullet velocity of 4.94 GR and the damage range of 0.45 Gs. Put on the 40 round mag unless you think you can handle 50. I don't think 50 is necessary. I think 40 is more than enough. If you think you can handle 30, then you're a maniac, and never use 15. It's just not worth it. Put on the LM stockless mod for aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control at the cost of aiming recoil control, aiming stability, and flinch resistance. Put on the VLK Laser 7 MW for aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire speed at the cost of the laser being visible in ADS. Keep that in mind. Do not change the zero in distance. Set the weight to negative 0.23 ounces for sprint to fire speed. And here's the outcome. It's super easy to use. It has super fast sprint to fire speed, as you guys see. It's just a fantastic weapon overall. Long range, do not do it, but you get good movement, very good movement. You're going to be very happy using this weapon. Super fast sprint to fire. Like I'll show you right now. You guys see super fast sprint to fire speed. And I think this is a fantastic build.